Have you been feeling like your life carries a secret weight? Like you're moving through the world with a hidden assignment that no one else can quite see or understand? Do you experience spiritual encounters, dreams, visions, angelic visitations that make you question why you feel so different, even among other believers? If that's you, you didn't just find this message, you were led here by divine instruction. Because here's what God is saying: you are the seventh seal. Most people won't understand that. They'll hear it and dismiss it. But if you're a chosen one, if you've been marked by heaven with a divine message, you already feel it in your spirit. This message is only for God's elect. If that's not you, you can scroll. But if something in your soul is burning right now, don't move. What's about to be released is not just revelation, it's activation. If you've been having prophetic dreams, repeated number encounters, or sensing a shift in the atmosphere, that's your confirmation. You are not crazy, you are called. Comment 777 for divine revelation, 000 for divine reset, or simply 7 for holy completion if you know this word is for you. Like, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this video with another chosen vessel who needs to hear this word. You were led here right on time. This message will change the way you see your calling, because you are the prophecy. The biblical meaning of the seventh seal. When the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Revelation 8:1. This one verse carries a prophetic weight that most overlook, yet it holds the key to understanding the moment we're in and the identity many of you are just now awakening to. The seventh seal is not just an event, it's a revelation, a divine moment where time, judgment, and purpose converge. When Jesus, the Lamb of God, opens the seventh and final seal, heaven does not shout, it goes silent. And that silence isn't passive. It's pregnant with power. In the biblical structure of Revelation, each seal marks a phase of divine unfolding, judgment, release, awakening. But the seventh seal is different. It is the seal of finality, the seal that releases the fullness of God's authority. The silence in heaven is not confusion, it is reverence. It is the pause before divine motion. It represents a moment so holy that even the angels hold their breath. That's the weight of this seal. Now hear this. The seventh seal is not just a cosmic event, it is a prophetic pattern. And some of you watching this are beginning to realize you are spiritually tied to this seal. You are the quiet before the shift, the silence before the storm, the mystery that causes heaven to pause. You are not waiting on the move. You are the move. Many of you have been experiencing intense prophetic dreams, spiritual downloads, and angelic visitations. But in quietness, not fireworks, not chaos, just a sense that heaven is close, watching, measuring. You wake up feeling the residue of the Spirit, but can't explain the message in words. You sense something divine is happening around you, yet no one around you sees it. This is not confusion, it's confirmation. You are moving in seventh seal timing. What does this mean? First, it means you are being called to a higher place of stillness and sensitivity. Silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. In Revelation 8, heaven pauses not because God is uncertain, but because what comes next is so weighty, it demands silence. Some of you have been feeling that. God pulling you into solitude, friends pulling away. You've been craving quiet spaces. That's not you being antisocial. That's you responding to a divine summons. God is aligning you with the nature of the seventh seal. Consecrated quietness before global shift. Secondly, it speaks to finality. The seventh seal is the completion of the scroll, God's hidden plan being fully opened. That's why so many of you have felt like your old life is gone, even if it hasn't fully changed externally. There's a spiritual closing happening. Cycles are ending. Mindsets are dying. Old callings are being folded up and new mantles are being released. You may feel like your identity is unraveling. That's because you're being re-identified under a new assignment. You're not who you were. You are who heaven says you've become. And with that comes authority. The kind that can't be taught, only entrusted. The seventh seal is the moment where heaven signals, now the fullness is here. And that fullness brings divine judgment and activation. For the remnant, it's not about punishment, it's about positioning. God is activating the sealed ones, those who have been hidden, refined, and entrusted with divine blueprints for this hour. You've been dreaming things that seem too big, too strange, too holy. That's because your spirit has already seen what's coming. You're not waiting for the future. You've been sent from it. The silence around your life is the evidence that heaven has just opened your seal. The delay wasn't delay. It was the stillness that always precedes the storm of manifestation. Let's talk about the angelic connection. In Revelation E8, once the seventh seal is opened, 7 angels are given trumpets. The silence breaks with divine announcement. For many of you, the silence you've been living in is about to break. And what comes next will sound like divine trumpet blasts. Sudden clarity, unexpected favor, divine appointments, prophetic visibility. Your dreams have been the whispers. What's coming next will be the announcement. That's why it's crucial that you understand. This silence has been sacred. You haven't been punished. You've been preserved. You haven't been passed over. You've been positioned. You haven't been forgotten. You've been sealed. The world couldn't see you. Your gift felt dormant. Your voice was buried under warfare, rejection, and delay. But that was all part of the seventh seal process. When heaven goes quiet, it's because God is preparing the chosen ones to speak. You're not random. You're not irrelevant. You're not waiting for a word. You're carrying one. You are a walking scroll, a living message, a sealed vessel marked for this hour. And that's why you've been so heavily attacked. The enemy always moves in confusion when heaven moves in silence. You were under pressure because hell couldn't read you. You are encrypted with prophecy. And now, the time is drawing near for your reveal. The chosen ones are tied to this final seal because they are part of its fulfillment. You carry final hour assignments. You walk with apostolic weight. You pray with prophetic instruction. You intercede not for inspiration, but for activation. You are heaven's pause before the release. That's why things have felt tight, slow, heavy. It's not stagnation, it's sacred tension. You are the type of vessel heaven silences for a season, because what's in you must not be released prematurely. But now the seal is opening. Chosen one, let this settle deep in your soul. You are tied to the seventh seal. You are the hush before heaven releases its next move. You are the confirmation in human form. You are the trumpet waiting to sound. If this resonates, comment below. 777 for divine revelation, 000 for divine reset, 7 for seal completion. Subscribe, tap the bell, and share this with another sealed one who's been feeling the silence too. You're not waiting for the prophecy. You are the prophecy. Why God called you the seventh seal. Chosen one, there is a reason you felt different your entire life. It's not personality, it's not imagination, it's not insecurity, it's spiritual identity. God did not call you just to survive this world. He called you to fulfill heaven's timeline. You are not just a believer. You are not just a dreamer. You are the fulfillment of a scroll written long ago. Heaven called you the seventh seal because you represent divine activation and fulfillment in the end-time move of God. You are not ordinary. You've known that for years. Your battles have been uncommon. Your sense of time, your sensitivity to the Spirit, your ability to discern things that others ignore, none of it is random. You are a spiritual encounter wrapped in flesh. Your very presence carries weight. When you enter a room, things shift. Not because of your charisma, but because of your spiritual configuration. The enemy knew this. That's why he tried to sabotage you from childhood. That's why the warfare was generational. That's why your mind has been attacked. Because your life is prophetic architecture. What does it mean that you are the seventh seal? It means your life was designed as part of heaven's final blueprint. You are not just in the end times. You are part of the end time move itself. You don't just carry the message. You are the message. God is using your life to announce the transition from delay to release, from silence to sound, from concealment to confrontation, and you felt it. That weight, that pull, that holy heaviness that doesn't let you quit even when you're exhausted. Many chosen ones carry unspoken assignments. They're not on stages. They're not always known. They're not always loud, but they are spiritual time bombs, loaded with prophecy, carrying codes of intercession, insight, healing, reform, deliverance. And when the appointed moment comes, heaven detonates what's inside them, and the atmosphere around them shifts. Cities are shaken, families are healed, generations are realigned. That's what's in you. And that's why your preparation has been so painful. You've always felt out of sync. You didn't fit in. Even in spiritual spaces, you felt like an outsider. You've been misunderstood, misjudged, and mishandled. But that's because you were concealed, not rejected. God hid you because he was still activating the scroll inside you. He was still arranging the details of your story to align with the prophecy written over your bloodline. Yes, you are the answer to generational prayers. You are the yes someone in your ancestry cried out for but never saw. Their tears watered the ground you're now walking on. That sense of weight you feel, that holy responsibility, it's not just about your life, it's about your lineage. God has placed something in you that will break cycles and complete assignments. You're not just finishing what your ancestors started, you're bringing it into divine completion. That's why you felt delayed. That's why doors opened and then mysteriously closed. That's why some people entered your life for a moment and then disappeared. You thought it was attack, but it was alignment. God has placed divine messages inside you that only activate in appointed seasons. You weren't ready to speak until the atmosphere was right. You weren't released until the people were prepared. You weren't promoted until the prophecy matured. Your entire life has been wrapped in timing, not denial. The seventh seal is all about timing and fullness. That's why your life has felt like waiting. Waiting. Then suddenly, everything starts stirring. That's why you're being awakened now. That's why you've been drawn to prophetic teachings, angelic visitations, fasting, deep prayer, and spiritual dreams. It's because your seal is breaking open. And when that seal breaks, the hidden inside of you becomes visible in the spirit realm. You are a carrier of end-time blueprints. That's why you dream about things you don't fully understand yet. That's why you feel the presence of angels while you sleep. That's why you can no longer tolerate shallow spiritual environments. Because what's inside of you is deep, ancient, holy, and it's beginning to rise. Heaven is peeling back the covering, and the world is about to meet the you that has been kept for this exact moment in history. You may not feel worthy. You may feel like a mess, but that's only because you're judging yourself by what you see. God sees the scroll. He sees the code. He sees the years of prayer when no one noticed, the quiet obedience when no one clapped, the purity you fought for in secret, the times you held on by a thread. Heaven saw it all. And now the Lamb who opens the seals is saying, "It's time." You've been asking why you've been so restless, why you're suddenly grieving old dreams, old versions of yourself, old environments. It's because your identity is shifting. You're not being destroyed, you're being redesigned. You're not falling apart, you're being unsealed. So what do you do with this? 1. Stay consecrated. You are sacred space now. Guard your time, guard your mind, guard your energy. Not in fear, but in reverence. 2. Ask for divine understanding. Say, "God, help me discern what's in my scroll." You don't need the full picture, just the next instruction. 3. Don't explain yourself. Most won't understand what's on you. They're not supposed to. It's not for them. It's for the appointed moment. 4. Surround yourself with fire carriers. Isolation can protect you, but community will sustain you. Find your tribe, those who feel what you feel. Pray like you pray. Burn like you burn. 5. Declare daily, "I am the seventh seal. I am chosen for completion. I carry divine fulfillment. I will not miss my moment." If your spirit is in agreement, comment below. I am the seventh seal. I carry the code. I am heaven's answer. Or simply post 777 or 000 as a prophetic declaration. And don't just sit on this. Share it with another sealed one. Someone else who's been wrestling with their timing. Someone who's been feeling the shift but didn't have the language. Be the voice that activates them. This is not emotion. This is not inspiration. This is impartation. You are the pause before the prophecy. You are the trumpet behind the silence. You are the answer, wrapped in mystery. You are the seventh seal. What the seventh seal carries spiritually, chosen one, it's time to understand what you truly carry, what it means when God calls you the seventh seal. You are not simply a witness to the move of God. You are a carrier of divine timing, judgment, and release. The seventh seal is not symbolic fluff. It is a weighty spiritual reality. And if you felt like your life has been marked by pressure, resistance, and divine silence, it's because you're not just part of God's plan. You're part of His announcement. Revelation 8:1 says, "When the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour." That silence wasn't confusion or hesitation. It was heaven pausing because earth was about to shift. The seventh seal marks the tipping point where what's been restrained is now being released. And if God called you the seventh seal, it means your life has been divinely timed to announce disruption, usher in order, and release divine judgment on systems, not just individuals. Let's break this down. 1. You carry authority. The seventh seal comes after the scroll has been opened piece by piece, but this final seal carries the weight of completion and command. When this seal is broken, angelic assignments are released. The earth is impacted. Trumpets begin to sound. That is not casual. That is kingdom government. And if you carry the spirit of the seventh seal, you carry spiritual authority. Your words shift atmospheres. Your prayers tear open strongholds. Your presence unsettles darkness. You may not have a title, but in the spirit you are known. Demons recognize your voice. Angels respond to your obedience. You've been given keys not just to survive, but to govern. That's why your spiritual life has been under such fire. Not because you're weak, but because you're dangerous. 2. You carry sacred silence. The silence in Revelation 8:1 is one of the most powerful moments in all of Scripture. Heaven pauses, not out of confusion, but out of reverence and holy tension. This is the same silence God places on His chosen before elevation. If you've been in a long season of divine quiet, Where the heavens seem still and your prayers feel unanswered, you are not being ignored. You are being reverenced. Heaven is not silent because you are forgotten. It's silent because your moment is weighty. When you carry the seventh seal, God stills everything around you before he reveals what's inside you. Silence isn't absence, it's preparation. It's the calm before the holy. 3. You carry divine exposure. With the breaking of the seventh seal, what has been hidden begins to be revealed. Angelic movements are exposed. Trumpets begin to sound. Judgments are announced. Everything that was waiting behind the curtain now steps into divine order. This is what your life is about to do. You're stepping into a season of visibility, not for fame, but for fulfillment. The things you've been carrying in secret, the words, the dreams, the assignments are about to be called out of you. The season of hiding is ending, not because you're finally ready to be seen, but because heaven is ready to release what you've been holding. The exposure is not a spotlight, it's a signal. The time has come. 4. You carry heavy warfare. If you carry the seventh seal, you've endured warfare others can't imagine. Not just external attacks, but internal storms, mental fatigue, emotional confusion, spiritual dryness. There's a reason. Your life is positioned at the intersection of heavenly timing and earthly resistance. You are a threat. Your very existence is a countdown to heaven's next move. The enemy doesn't just oppose you. He's been tracking you, trying to shut you down before your assignment breaks open. That pressure you felt, it wasn't failure, it was the weight of the scroll. The rejection you experienced, it wasn't personal, it was protection. The spiritual dryness, that wasn't distance from God, it was divine stillness. Because before the trumpet sounds, heaven always holds its breath. And if you felt like everything around you went quiet, it's because heaven was leaning in. 5. You carry angelic alignment revelation. 8 shows that after the seventh seal is broken, angels are activated. This tells us something critical. The seventh seal isn't just about individual breakthrough. It's about systemic shift, and that requires divine assistance. If you are the seventh seal, your assignments are bigger than you, and so are your reinforcements. That's why angels have been surrounding you, even when you didn't feel them. That's why you've had dreams of light beings, numbers like 444, or sudden peace in the middle of storms. Your steps are being guarded not because you're weak, but because you're marked. You don't move alone. You walk with military-level angelic backing, and the moment your seal breaks, your team moves. Why you felt the pressure. Let's revisit the symptoms. Rejection, because you couldn't be exposed too soon. Dryness, because stillness always comes before release. Loneliness, because the seventh seal stands alone before it activates the heavens. Restlessness, because your assignment is about to call you forward. You've been sealed, which means God hid you for a specific time and purpose. But now the seal is breaking, and with it systems will shake. This is bigger than personal promotion. This is about the earth responding to a heaven-ordained shift through you. God is not just dealing with individuals. He's confronting nations, governments, churches, economies, ideologies. And he's doing it through vessels like you who have been prepared in silence. A final word. To carry the seventh seal means to host the weight of heaven's final instructions. You are not casual, you are not common, and you are no longer hidden. If this resonates, declare it boldly. I carry the seal. I walk in divine silence. I govern in spiritual authority. I am heaven's signal to the earth. And comment below. 7 for holy completion. 777 for divine revelation. 000 for total reset and reactivation. Like, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this with another sealed one. someone who's been carrying the weight and waiting for confirmation. You're not just in the plan of God, you are the turning point. You are the seventh seal. Your role as a living seal on earth. Chosen one, there comes a time when heaven no longer whispers to you, but begins speaking through you. That time is now. You are not just someone carrying a message. You are the message. You are not just a dreamer or an intercessor. You are the confirmation wrapped in human form. Heaven has called you to be more than a believer. You are a living seal on the earth. When God called you the seventh seal, He wasn't labeling you with mystery. He was activating you with mandate. You are both the messenger and the sign. Your life announces things before your mouth ever opens. Your presence often makes people uncomfortable, not because you offend them, but because your spirit convicts what's out of alignment. You've likely noticed that people pull away from you for no obvious reason. Conversations suddenly shift, environments tense up. That's not rejection, it's recognition. The unseen realm knows what you carry, even when you're still discovering it yourself. The Lord has marked you with what some call strange fire, a holiness that makes you feel out of place in religious crowds and disconnected in worldly ones. That's because your spirit is wired for assignment, not applause. You walk among people but carry codes from heaven. You've been entrusted with things that cannot be taught, only revealed. That's why your prophetic dreams have increased. That's why you often wake up in the middle of the night with spiritual impressions or unexplained heaviness. These are signs of your seal status. God speaks to His sealed ones differently. You don't always get loud instructions. You often get divine impressions. You don't always receive answers in public. You get revelation in silence. Your discernment is sharp, but your release is often delayed. That's because sealed ones don't move with impulse. They move with heaven's timing. Many of you have been asking, why am I so hidden? Why do I feel so full but no one calls on me? Because your life is a sacred vault. You walk in hidden power, and God is waiting for the appointed moment to unlock your assignment in full view. Think about how long Jesus walked the earth before His public ministry began. There were 30 silent years before 3 explosive ones. Why? Because timing is protection for the sealed. Here's what's happening. Heaven has sealed you not to suppress you, but to preserve you. You have been kept, not delayed. You have been guarded, not forgotten. You have been refined, not rejected. The weight of what you carry cannot be casually released. It must be unveiled by divine instruction. But make no mistake, your unveiling is coming. And when it does, your voice will break open what's been bound. Your presence will command alignment. Your yes will trigger angelic activity. That's why you've been surrounded in seasons of pressure by a strange sense of peace. Have you noticed that in your most confusing or isolating moments, you've suddenly felt watched, covered, or even touched by something holy? That's not your imagination. That's angelic visitation. The seventh seal does not activate alone. It is surrounded by heaven's hosts. Revelation 8 shows us that after the seal is broken, 7 angels are immediately released with trumpets. That's not coincidence. It's confirmation. When a sealed one is activated on earth, heaven dispatches its messengers. You've likely experienced this without always realizing it. Sudden chills in the spirit, an overwhelming urge to pray, glowing figures in dreams, or the constant recurrence of 444, all signs that angelic alignment is near. This is why silence has been your greatest teacher. God speaks to sealed ones in stillness, because the noise of the world cannot handle the depth of your instruction. You've been given strategies that don't make sense to those living by earthly clocks. You've been led to do things out of order. Quit jobs, leave relationships, delete platforms, sow seeds. because your obedience is tuned to heaven's rhythm. You're on assignment, not routine. Understand this clearly. The earth is not just watching for revival. The earth is groaning for the manifestation of the sealed ones. Romans 8:19 says it best. The creation waits in eager expectation for the sons of God to be revealed. That's you. All of creation is holding its breath for the moment your voice, your assignment, your anointing breaks into full expression. So what does it mean to walk as a seal on the earth? It means you guard your purity because you carry prophecy. It means you honor divine timing even when it's uncomfortable. It means you don't chase platforms, you wait for assignments. It means you obey even when you're misunderstood. It means you embrace silence as a sign that heaven is moving through you quietly. Let's be clear, the world will not clap for you before your seal is opened. You may be mocked, ignored, or overlooked, but that doesn't change your rank in the Spirit. God never needed popularity to confirm power. He simply needed a willing vessel to carry his code, his rhythm, and his voice. That's what you are. You are the vault. You are the seal. You are the scroll that was hidden until now. If this resonates in your spirit, declare it now in the comments. I am the seal. Heaven has hidden me for this moment. I carry angelic alignment. I walk in divine silence. And if you've been experiencing supernatural stillness, prophetic quiet, or moments where it feels like angels are near, comment 444 below. That's your prophetic code. That's your sign. That's your spiritual ID confirming that you are not alone. Then, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this word with another sealed one. Someone else is walking around feeling invisible, when really, they're in hiding by divine instruction. Be the confirmation they've been praying for. This is your call to remembrance. This is your signal to awaken. This is your invitation to walk as a living seal on earth. You are the evidence that heaven's scroll is still being fulfilled. You are the seventh seal. The shocking part. What happens when you're unsealed? Chosen one. If you've made it this far, then you're not just curious, you're awakening. And you need to know something most won't tell you. When you are unsealed, your life will never look the same. Being chosen was preparation. Being hidden was protection. But being unsealed is activation, and it comes with shockwaves. When heaven opens the seventh seal in Revelation 8, silence breaks and judgment begins to move. In the same way, when you are unsealed, your life becomes a living decree. You're no longer just receiving revelation. You become the expression of it. You're not just praying for transformation. You carry it in your shadow. And it doesn't come softly. Activation leads to authority, and authority brings exposure, not just of your assignment, but of everything around you that isn't aligned. When you're unsealed, you start to see differently, speak differently, and move differently. Your words carry unusual weight, conversations shift, people feel uncomfortable around you, and they can't explain why. That's because your presence confronts what's unclean. God uses his chosen not just to bless, but to break, confront, and purify. This is the part many don't expect. When you are unsealed, you become a living judgment, a walking verdict from heaven. Your presence begins to purge. You walk into a place and demons start to squirm. You speak truth, and strongholds begin to tremble. You don't even have to raise your voice. Your spirit carries fire. You're not just here to inspire people. You're here to purge systems, heal bloodlines, and confront demonic structures that have gone unchallenged for generations. And that means God will send you into rooms where your silence says more than their speeches. He'll position you where idols are worshipped, not so you blend in, but so you expose what's false by simply standing in truth. When you are unsealed, you begin to see the world through a lens of heaven's agenda, not man's comfort. God begins to show you what's really going on, behind conversations, behind institutions, behind spiritual performances. Your discernment sharpens. You can feel manipulation before it speaks. You can sense false doctrine before it's preached. You can see through flattery, image, and charisma because your spirit is aligned with judgment and truth. That's why this activation comes with divine confrontation. You will be asked to speak truth in moments where silence is easier. You will be sent to deliver warnings when others are cheering compromise. You will feel the tension of carrying peace and fire at the same time. Because your assignment is not to entertain, it's to expose, heal, and release. When God unseals a person, He doesn't just give them insight, He gives them impact. And that's where it gets shocking. Real-world implications. 1. Spiritual awakenings. People around you will begin to wake up, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Your life will stir them. Conversations with you will unlock buried callings. Some will weep just being near you. Others will walk away, convicted but confused. This is what happens when the unsealed walk among the asleep. 2. Prophetic insight. You'll begin to know things before you're told. You'll walk into a room and feel the warfare, sense the motives, or hear God say, "Don't speak yet." That's because you're operating under heaven's surveillance, not your own logic. 3. Sharper discernment. It will feel like your spiritual senses are heightened. Things you once tolerated will now irritate your spirit. Movies, music, conversations, things that carry hidden agendas will become obvious. You're not being judgmental, you're being calibrated. You've been unsealed, and with that comes holy sensitivity. 4. Increased influence. Doors will begin to open, people will start to notice. Your voice will carry weight in unexpected places. Platforms may come, but they won't flatter you. They will assign you. This influence is not about popularity, it's about purpose. God is giving you territory to steward, not to show off. Walk humbly, but walk boldly. Chapter 5. Increased spiritual warfare. With visibility comes warfare. Make no mistake, when you are unsealed, you are seen. In the realm of the Spirit, your activation triggers resistance. The same way trumpets followed the seventh seal in Revelation, your awakening will sound in hell's ears. Attacks may come on your mind, your relationships, your body. But they are not proof of failure. They are proof of effectiveness. Hell only targets what threatens its gates. How to move when you're unsealed. Stay submitted. Authority without obedience is rebellion. Keep your heart clean. Stay in prayer. You are now a living altar. Don't let the fire go out. Guard your circle. Not everyone can walk closely with someone carrying judgment and glory. Some people will fall off, and it's not betrayal. It's divine separation. Speak when God says speak. Sometimes your silence will do more than your sermons. Other times, your one sentence will shake a region. Be sensitive to timing. Walk in humility. Never forget, you didn't choose this. God did. And He can replace vessels that get full of themselves. Chosen one, this is your moment of reckoning. You are not a passive believer. You are a trigger in God's hand, a holy disruptor, a voice of fire, a breaker of systems, a healer of nations, a revealer of truth. You are the shockwave that comes after the scroll is opened. And yes, you will carry weight. Yes, you will lose people. Yes, you will feel pressure. But you will also experience something rare. Walking in real-time alignment with heaven's move. the kind of clarity that silences fear, the kind of peace that guards power, the kind of authority that hell respects. If this word resonates, declare it below. I have been unsealed. I carry heaven's agenda. I walk in prophetic authority. I am a living judgment. And comment 888 for new beginnings, or 444 if you felt the increase of angelic presence around your assignment. Like, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this with another sealed one who is about to step into divine exposure. This is not a promotion. It's a commissioning. You've been hidden. You've been marked. And now, you've been unsealed. Final instructions and end-time positioning for chosen ones. Chosen one, now that you've been unsealed, what comes next matters more than ever. This is the stage where many fall, not from lack of anointing, but from lack of alignment. The final instructions are not just suggestions, they are commands from the throne room for how to carry what's now been entrusted to you. In this end-time hour, you are not just being prepared, you are being positioned. And positioning requires posture. Stay hidden until God releases you. Do not rush out trying to be seen. Do not confuse being noticed with being used. God's true warriors are launched, not self-promoted. You've come too far to step outside of divine timing now. Don't market what God still has in development. There's a difference between movement and release. There are some stages God hasn't called you to yet. Let obedience be your platform. You don't need to announce yourself when heaven already has. Your visibility must be spirit-led, not fear-driven. Not everyone will understand your process. Not everyone is qualified to confirm your calling, and that's okay. You weren't chosen to be accepted. You were chosen to be effective. Now, more than ever, stay spiritually clean. This means protecting your soul from contamination, distractions, offenses, and fear. The enemy knows he can't remove your seal, but he'll try to make you forget you carry it. Stay out of conversations that drain your discernment. Refuse to engage in gossip or spiritual compromise. Keep your vessel holy, because angelic traffic increases when your spirit is pure. Offense will come. Don't let it stay. You can't walk in power and stay in petty. Forgiveness is not optional for the chosen. It is mandatory protection for your mantle. Let go of bitterness quickly. You are carrying too much weight to be tripped up by emotional snares, and guard your mind from fear. Fear is not just an emotion, it is a doorway. The enemy uses it to slip into places you've already conquered. You didn't survive this long to start doubting now. If God trusted you with this assignment, then He's already factored in your weakness, your wounds, and your weariness. Faith is your covering. Speak it daily. Live it boldly. This is also the time to pray for clarity. Don't just ask for more dreams. Ask for understanding of the ones you've already received. Some of you are sitting on blueprints, warnings, and revelations that you haven't fully unlocked yet. Pray for divine interpretation. Go back and revisit your journals. Pay attention to repeated symbols, numbers, and names. Ask God to connect the dots. There are patterns unfolding in your life that are bigger than personal encouragement. They are divine instructions for impact. And as you wait for heaven's release, remember this. This is not the time to blend in. You were never meant to fit. You are not here to dim your light for comfort. You are here to stand firm in your anointing. The world is growing darker. Compromise is becoming more common, even in spiritual spaces. But this is your moment to stand out, not in arrogance, in authority. Holiness is your identity. Consecration is your weapon. Purity is your covering. You don't need to conform to culture to reach people. You need to walk in the full weight of what heaven put on you. When the seal breaks, the trumpet sounds. That means your life must now carry sound, truth, love, warning, glory. Let your life preach, let your silence convict, let your discernment guide. Let your posture remind the earth that the King is coming. Here are your final positioning reminders. Stay low in posture, but high in vision. Humility gives you access to secrets pride can't reach. Fast often. Some instructions can only be heard through sacrifice. Stay around fire. Be in community with others who burn. Isolation is not the same as consecration. Journal the signs. What God is showing you now is part of a prophetic sequence. Obey immediately. Delayed obedience is quiet rebellion. Quick obedience keeps you on pace with heaven. If your spirit is stirring right now, this is your moment to respond. Declare it out loud and in the comments, I am positioned for end-time release. I walk in purity, power, and prophetic clarity. I refuse to blend in. I am chosen to stand out. And if you feel the weight of this word, if you've been in that holy place of silence, warfare, or sudden spiritual awakening, comment 444 for angelic covering and divine alignment. Then like, subscribe, tap the bell, and share this with another chosen one who needs to remember what they carry. Don't just be encouraged, be activated. You're not just being taught, you're being released. Heaven is watching, hell is trembling, and the earth is waiting. Stay in position. You are the prophecy in motion. Prophetic word and call to action. You're not watching this by accident. You didn't scroll here randomly or stumble into another spiritual message. You are the seventh seal. You carry the pause of heaven before God moves on the earth. You are the stillness before the sound, the silence before the shaking, the vessel chosen not just to witness, but to release. If this stirred your spirit, if you felt the weight, the clarity, the awakening, comment below. 000 for divine reset, 777 for prophetic completion, 444 for angelic covering and alignment. This wasn't just content, it was confirmation. So when you feel shaken, doubting, or lost in the noise, come back and rewatch this. Let it remind you who you are, what you carry, and why you've been hidden. Let it re-anchor you to your assignment. Subscribe now, like this video, and share it with someone else carrying the weight of being chosen. Pass the word forward. Activate your tribe. Don't keep this to yourself. This is how the remnant finds each other. And remember this final truth. Silence doesn't mean absence. It means the heavens are watching, and you're about to be released.